Okay, let's stop here for a minute.
What was that thing? It was huge.
I know, let me try and figure that out.
It was not a good idea to go on a hike today, Sam.
Thank you for that observation, Wendy. I know. Alright. It was strong, fast. Looks like there's territorial markings on these trees around here. And we're in the northern forests of the United States. Yeah, no doubt. Wendigo.
So where?
No, Wendy. Not Wendigo. Wendigo.
Okay, what exactly is a Wendigo?
Okay, well, seeing as if we're going to survive, we should understand this thing, and it's probably busy right now. Let's check the bestiary on Wendigos. Now that we're being hunted, this isn't just by some wild animal though. This is a Wendigo, which is a lot worse. And if we're gonna have any chance of surviving, we need to fully understand what we're up against.
Alright, but where do these things come from?
But see, now that's where it gets interesting. Since ancient times, humans have always had a few unbreakable rules. Certain taboos, a list of horrible things that must never be done. Now these vary from culture to culture, but almost universally, everyone avoids the crime of anthropophagy, better known as cannibalism. Now many ancient stories tell of forbidden powers that eating human flesh can bestow on those who break this taboo. But everything comes with a price. The Native Americans held a belief in spirits everywhere, both good and bad. And when someone commits the crime of cannibalism, they were said to have opened themselves up to the evil spirit of the Wendigo. After a person has been possessed, their body begins to change into the monster that's currently hunting us down. Yay! And they are forever tortured by a gnawing hunger for more human flesh as their punishment for eating some of their own kind. But the spirit doesn't just warp their minds and cause their cannibalistic cravings. It'll change their bodies to make them more effective hunters too. Let's have some fun and talk about Wendigo physiology. After possession, the Wendigo will start to undergo a violent change. The eyes are the first thing to go. They turn milky white and they get both dimmer and sharper at the same time, attuned to movement rather than sight. Kind of like a toad. This makes them deadly predators at night when their prey is blinded and stumbling around in the dark. It also gives them an Achilles heel though. If you are able to keep absolutely still, the monster won't be able to see you and it might actually move on.
Can't see us if we don't move.
They also have great hearing. The next thing to change is the creature's limbs, which will extend to unnatural lengths. Their hands and feet will grow deadly claws, effectively turning them into meat-cleaving sides. Watch out for that, by the way. The extended limbs also allow a Wendigo to reach up into the treetops and climb around so it can get the height advantage while it stalks its prey. Where the legends start to differ on the appearance of the Wendigo is the head. Some legends say that the skull hardly changes at all. It stays mostly human, they just lose all their hair and they grow fangs. Other legends take a more monstrous approach, saying that the head morphs into a mixture between a wolf and a deer, with antlers and fangs again. Guess fangs are a big thing. Those teeth are made for ripping and tearing, but unlike the teeth of a zombie or a werewolf, if you're bitten by a Wendigo, it's not infectious. You won't turn into one. You know, assuming you escape after being bitten. All these physical changes make Wendigos faster and stronger than they were as humans. But remember that they were once humans. They know how humans think. They know how to hunt us, and they are smarter than us.
Oh my god, he's still alive. We have to help him.
No, Wendy, no! Hey, okay. This thing mimics human voices. It sets traps. Wendigos are smarter than us. And if we're not careful, it's gonna split us up. It's gonna pick us off one by one. So let's all relax and sit back down with Alex.
Wow, you weren't kidding. They are good hunters.
Yeah, now might be a good time to talk about how to protect yourself whenever you're being stalked by a Wendigo. Well, the best strategy is to try and avoid these carnivores at all costs. When backed into a corner, there are a few ways you could technically have a way of killing these things. Wendigos are vulnerable to certain metals, namely iron, steel, and that beautiful slayer of all monsters, silver. Leave your standard buckshot bullets at home, because lead is not going to hurt these things. At most, it'll just make it mad. Even going at them with one of these three metals is a dangerous proposition, as a Wendigo's skin is tough and calloused into a type of natural armor. It's nearly impossible to break through their hide with human strength alone, which is why it's much more effective to use method number 2, fire! Because of the difficulty involved with just hitting a Wendigo with a conventional weapon, let alone killing it, Many legends claim that fire is the only way to slay the beast. And boy, if it isn't effective. All that dry, callous skin will go up like newspaper if you can hit them with a spark. And if the fire doesn't kill the Wendigo outright, it'll slow them down and cripple them, burning off their protective armor, leaving them wide open to a strike from iron, steel, or silver. Trying to burn the Wendigo at a distance is recommended, because if you get close to these things, you're probably not gonna get away. Projectile incendiary weapons include, but are not limited to, flare guns, flamethrowers, burning arrows, improvised aerosol, and my personal favorite, the Molotov cocktail.
The Molotov!
My mom was so mad when I filmed that. Keep in mind that Wendigos are extremely intelligent and will not put themselves willingly in danger. To try and ward off a Wendigo at night, try using Anasazi protection symbols. Evil spirits cannot pass over these symbols, and drawing them around your campsite is an effective way to protect yourself while you sleep. They could also theoretically be used to trap and kill the Wendigo. Using a combination of human bait and Anasazi symbols, it could be possible to draw the Wendigo into a kill zone where it could be lit on fire and finished off. And if all else fails, hey, go for broke, try to appease the thing.
Appease it? What do you mean?
Oh, you know, like, make it happy with you so it won't kill you.
How do you do that?
Well, I did it by promising the Wendigo that if it let me go, I would bring it 3 other people. And by the way, Wendy, sorry about this, it's nothing personal, it's just survival.
Wait, what?
Oh, what a mess. Where was I? Oh, right. So where do the Wendigo legends come from, and what do they mean? Well, as stated before, a Wendigo is a monster that's born out of cannibalism. With so many cultures around the world viewing anthropophagy as a disgusting abomination, it's no wonder that whenever someone's committed the act, they were seen as a monster. Why do Wendigos live in northern forests? Because in the north, that's where winters get harsh. Just a few hundred years ago, before we had supermarkets on every corner and refrigerators to preserve our food, if you weren't able to store up enough food for winter, you could easily find yourself starving out in your log cabin. Humans are capable of both amazing and terrible things when it comes down to survival, and there are many accounts of people resorting to eating their dead once they started dying of hunger. One of the most famous examples of this is the story of the Donner Party. In 1846, a group of American pioneers led by George Donner set out for California. The wagon train took a new route west known as Hastings Cutoff, which led through the Sierra Mountains in Nevada. While traveling through the rough terrain, the party suffered losses of both cattle and carts, but even worse was that they were eventually trapped in the mountains for the winter by an early snowfall. It was 4 long months before the party was able to escape the mountains. During that time, their food rations were emptied out, and many began to starve. Of the 87 members of the Donner Party who went up into the mountains that winter, only 48 survived and made it to California. Many only survived by eating the dead. There are countless other stories of people chowing down on their fellow man when pushed to the edge. Heck, some people have even voluntarily had parts of their bodies eaten as a piece of performance art. Yet despite this, the Wendigo legend's still not widely known. Most people have no clue what a Wendigo is, though a few do show up in modern media every now and then. Some aren't called Wendigos, but the basic idea of the creature is still the same. And isn't that appropriate? Wendigos are said to live hundreds of years, stalking people quietly in the woods, never really seen until it's too late. How fitting that they only appear in our modern stories briefly and remain mysterious. So that's Wendigos, the monster we can become when we lose our humanity and give into our primal instinct to survive. Now, Wendigos aren't the only creature that stalk the woods, and don't worry, we'll come back to explore the woods later in this series. But for right now, all this hiking, running, and talk about food's really making me hungry, so I'm gonna grab something to eat. Thank you very much for watching, I'll see you later, and remember, always wear bug spray when you go hiking in the woods, because if you're not protected, you might get bit by something. See ya. So, who else is hungry after watching that? I actually started writing this video before I knew Until Dawn existed. So when I was looking for footage and found out there was a brand new video game all about Wendigos, I freaked out. There was so much usable footage. And you have watched all of it. Thank you so much for that. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Bestiary, and I've got more coming up soon. So if you like this video and you like what I do, stick around, you might like more of my stuff. And with that, have a good day, week, month, or life, and whatever happens, try not to eat your friends. Just be a vegetarian if it comes down to it. Who am I kidding? I could never be a vegetarian. Chicken just tastes way too good. Alright, that's enough. Goodbye!